Jury selection begins in the landmark social media addiction lawsuit. This case is happening in a Los Angeles County court. Let's go straight to former federal prosecutor and president of West Coast Trial Lawyers, Neama Rahmani. It's great to see you again. And obviously you are in California right now, where a 19-year-old who is central to this case claims her early age social media use developed her addiction and exacerbated suicidal thoughts. As you take a look at your screen right here, Neama, the lawsuit claims in part the defendants borrowed behavioral and neurobiological techniques used by slot machines and exploited, they say, by the cigarette industry. How do you prove the company's apps are actually doing this and causing that addiction they claim?
Dee, thanks for having me. I'm sitting here in downtown Los Angeles, about a mile away from the courthouse where this is all happening. And like you said, one of the big issues in this case is going to be causation. We know, obviously, mental health is a big issue for teenagers. But was it caused by these tech companies, these social media apps, or was it something else entirely? It could be their family, it could be their friends, school. Obviously, there are a lot of factors at play here. So that's one of the big issues in this case, establishing causation. Were the apps responsible for these mental health issues?
Well, as you know, TikTok and Snap, they already settled ahead of this trial. This is going to be the first time we hear from major tech executives before a jury. What are your expectations?
Well, this is the bellwether trial, so it's the first, and depending on how this goes, it's really going to determine how the thousands of other cases filed in state and federal court throughout this country, are they going to settle, or will these tech companies become emboldened and fight those cases? So it's really a test case. And obviously, we know that there are First Amendment defenses here. There's Section 230 of the Communications Decency Act. So this is one of those trials, Didi, that could easily go both ways. And those 12 men and women are really going to have to decide who is responsible for the harm suffered to this 19-year-old.
And many tech companies, they have maintained that they have put safeguards in place and aren't responsible for third-party content. I know this is something, a jury will eventually have to decide here, but important to point out that some research even suggests frequently checking social media in early adolescence, just look at this headline, may be associated with brain changes. How could medical research like this set a new standard with this case, with future cases, similar cases?
Well, we're going to have the battle of the experts here, and I think we all know how addictive our phones can be. We're always on it, talking, texting on the social media apps. Obviously, children, they're much more susceptible, but certainly you're going to see doctors, medical experts on both sides that are going to come and they're going to opine. Some are going to say that this is addictive. I mean, you heard the analogies, as bad as cigarettes. And I think really the example we'll probably see most are the vaping, the Juul litigation, for instance, that was targeted allegedly to these young children, right? With whether it's on social media or different colors and that type of thing. Because obviously, when you are a company, you want to get someone addicted early. I'm not saying that's what big tech is trying to do, but if you get them hooked early, obviously they're going to be a client or an addict for life. So that's the argument that these mental health professionals and doctors are going to make here.
Really is a case that touches every corner of the United States, and of course we're watching it closely. Former federal prosecutor and president of West Coast Trial Lawyers, Neama Rahmani, as always, thank you for joining us.
Of course, Didi, thanks for having me as always.